This is killer. This is one of those RC cars where you could take it out of the box, put it on the shelf, and you would be totally happy just staring at it. You don't even have to drive it. Kyosho has been doing some amazing work lately with their ultra scale bodies, and this one is no exception. This is the Chevy El Camino SS 396, and the body set on here is absolutely incredible. I've been staring at it ever since I pulled it out of the box, and I can't take my eyes off of it. Of course, we're going to go over this in detail, not so much on the chassis because we've already reviewed the chassis with the Camaro that you see in the background over there. So I'll link a card to it, and we'll talk about some features, but it's really about the body set here on this car. And we'll start off with the front bumper here, which is molded and chromed as well. Really cool look, really just picks up that El Camino look, really aggressive. We've got some decals in there as well, just to really set off the look with the light lenses. Up above it is the SS logo, which is raised off of the decal grille, which, you know, it's a decal, but it's chrome at least, so it really pops. And then we've got the headlight bezels here with clear lenses. You can go and add LED lights if you want to, not included in the box, but at least you could go add it on later. But the front, really aggressive, has that awesome muscle car look that is so well known in the El Caminos. And then the body lines on here are absolutely incredible. I mean, they really nailed it. We've got some chrome trim around the fenders. The SS logos are even chrome. We've got chrome mirrors. Those are separate molded pieces. That's really nice. Chrome door handle decals, even chrome trim around the windows. The windows are clear but tinted, so that, I love the look of that. And then back here, the bed area, the tonneau cover of the bed is a flat black. Looks really, really awesome. And back here as well, we've got a molded chrome bumper. The lights are decals, but they do have buckets on the back side of it, so you can add LEDs in the rear as well. The SS logo is raised, and I mean, everything just looks really cool. The only way that you could really tell that this is an RC body in photos is, one, you've got the body pins sticking out here, and two, there are a couple little mold lines in the body. You know, to get this much detail in there, I'm guessing they had to have separate pieces to mold this body. So you can see a few lines, but it's not that big of a deal. The only other thing I wanted to point out about this body is right out of the box, some of the decals were lifting a little bit, and these cars do go through a lot of temperature changes when they're shipped, so that's what makes the decals pop up. Just take a hairdryer, heat it up a little bit, push it back down, and you'll be good to go. But overall, that is just an awesome look. On all four corners, we've got these classic muscle car wheels with treaded rubber tires on here, pre-glued from the factory. So, you know, that's ready to roll. All right, let's pop the body off really quick, and we'll go over some of the quick features, and then we got to get this thing out there on the asphalt. And for a ready-to-run car, this is really well built from the factory. We've got some good electronics in here, and I know for a fact that this car does handle well just from past experience with this Fazer Mk2 chassis. So here's that chassis. It is a tub style of chassis, a composite tub. Really clean layout in here, really well balanced. Velcro strap to hold down the battery, just these little plates to cover up the receiver and the servo. Just a nice look overall. And it's got a sealed drivetrain on here, so when you're running around in dirt and grime in the parking lot, it doesn't get into the drive line, mess up the gears or anything like that. There's a gear differential in the front, gear differential in the rear. You can go and adjust grease viscosities in there, so if you want to tighten things up a little bit for a little bit more performance or change the handling, you could do that. There is a composite drive shaft in the center. We've got composite dog bones on all four corners, and the driveline does run on ball bearings, so at least you don't have to worry about upgrading that from bushings later on down the road. I do like that. Back here is the 14-turn L motor. It's got a 32-tooth pinion gear on this, so that is really gonna, you know, give this thing some good power right out of the box. While talking about the electronics, we've got a 60 amp brush speed controller in here, the Synchro standard servo. There is a T-style connector on there, so when you need to go pick up a battery, make sure you get a T-style plug with that. And you also need a battery charger and 4 AA batteries for the radio, which I'll show you in a little bit. But let's move on to the suspension. And the suspension is just simple double wishbone suspension. We've got oil-filled coil-over shocks, and Kyosho does really make a nice composite bodied shock. This feels nice and smooth. smooth, and it works really well. Simple pivot ball steering knuckles up front, out back. The suspension is fixed here as well, so you know, there's no camber adjustments or anything like that. This thing will be pretty well dialed for those of you that just want to go out and have some fun with it. Other worthy things to talk about, we've got a nice big foam bumper up front to protect the suspension. There is disc-style brakes in here. Obviously, they're not functioning. They're just there for the looks, as well as some calipers in there. So it looks really awesome when you look through the wheels on this. And that's really about it. We've got adjustable body mounts in case you ever want to switch out the body or maybe run this car with a different body on here so you don't mess up the nice El Camino body. And this is a great chassis. The Fazer chassis has been just a blast to drive before, and I can't wait to run this one. But first, let me show you what else comes in the box really quickly. It comes with the Synchro radio system, has all your trim dials that you'll need to get this thing tweaked and tuned so it goes straight and doesn't roll on you, or maybe you want to go and adjust the steering, you can do that as well. And it has a really good feel to it. This is actually a great radio system for a ready to run. And then also in the box, you'll get a little baggie here that has the instruction manual in it. You're gonna wanna go and read that. It's got a bind plug in case you ever need to rebind the radio system. It is bound from the factory. And then a little bag of parts. Some extra wheel hexes in here that allow you to use a 200mm body on this car. There's also some shock preload spacers and a couple other little shock pieces in there as well that you may need. But that's it. That's all you need to know about the Fazer Mk2 chassis. Again, the El Camino body, just pure perfection from Kyosho. And now all we need to do is go see it run. Let's head outside. All right, so let's wrap up the review of the Kyosho Fazer El Camino. And first up, we need to talk about this body set. It is just killer. They did a fantastic job replicating this classic muscle car out there on the tarmac. It looks awesome ripping around. And when it's on the shelf, it looks killer there as well. Yes, there's a couple body lines, you know, from the molds that it just kind of takes away from the eye a little bit, but overall it looks great. Now, what's just as good is the handling of this car right out of the box. I mean, I was just ripping around on 2S and having a blast with it. It's dialed in, they got the suspension set up right, and it's just fun. It was a little cold outside when I was ripping around, so there, you know, it was a loss of traction in the rear. When I've driven the Camaro Fazer, which is pretty much the same thing, during the summertime, it was pretty dialed in. So, you know, maybe it could use a couple little tweaks. Maybe the sway bar set, there is a stabilizer set I saw in the instruction manual. That might be a good option for it. And maybe a little bit of diff tuning, but, you know, if you're just out there to have fun, to enjoy the killer look of this car, you're going to have fun with it. It's going to be a blast. It will be easy to handle. If you do bump up the 3S on here, it does get a little squirrely. You know, the rear end does want to break out, and, you know, it's cool to go fast, but, you know, just watch yourself when you're driving. You don't want to smash this thing into a curb. I did. I messed up the front bumper on here, but it still looks good, and, you know, there's no damage to report. The only thing that I do want to talk about is the tires on here. The tires, they burn off rather quickly. Within about 5 battery packs, the tread is gone on the tires. So if you're just really ripping on this thing, you might need a tire set very soon in the future. Power-wise, again, it's fast, it's fun, it's got plenty of steering for just ripping around wide open parking lots, and it's all about the classic look, and Kyosho nailed it again. I had a lot of fun with this, and if you enjoy this style of car, I totally recommend it. All right, guys, if you haven't done so yet, please click that subscribe button and the notifications bell, throw the video a like, and we'll see you back soon for some more RC Driver videos.